Hi, my name is Lisa Smith. Thanks for tuning into this video and for checking out my Keynote page. For the last 20 years, I have been a certified and registered medical assistant, a certified health and wellness examiner, a mother, a daughter, a friend, a teacher, a trainer, a coach, a manager, and an administrator. My life has been a struggle and it has been a success. I want to tell you my story, and I want to share my story with your organization as well. You see, for 12 years, I endured quite severe at times domestic violence. I also had 3 children who came into the marriage during the 12-year period, who also became victims. And ultimately, we all became survivors of that tragic ordeal. You see, I was much like many people who married at a very young age, 18 years old, married my high school sweetheart, the football player. The things we think about when we're young, the things we think are important. Down the road, we figure out we're not so important after all. But at the time, seemed like the criteria that we need to meet. Yeah. So very shortly into the marriage, actually, the wedding night, the violence began. Now you might ask, why didn't I just turn around and run if it began that soon? That's a really good question. I wish I had a really good answer for you. And I'm sure most survivors of domestic violence wish they had a really good answer to that question as well. I do have some answers for you though, and I could share those with you down the road. But for now, let me just tell you that I stayed. I stayed and I stayed and endured on almost a daily basis, at least for the first few years. Yes, there were times that I looked into his eyes and I thought he would kill me. He told me he would. That's one reason I stayed. Yes, there were times that I looked into his eyes and I swore in my brain and in my heart that I would kill him. But I didn't, for many reasons. But I knew I had to get out of the marriage, and I knew that one day I would. I just didn't know how exactly to do it. I had an epiphany one day as I sat on the edge of my bed crying at about age 20. It was after a particularly difficult altercation and he had left. And I sat there and I thought to myself, Lisa, you are 20 years old. I felt like I was 120 at that point. I thought forward into my future. And when you're 20, 40 years old seems really old. I thought about being 40 years old. I thought about what my life would be like in 20 years. I looked into the faces of my unborn children, who I was certain I would bring into the world. And that just saddened me beyond belief. And on that very day, I said to myself, it's time to get a new future. This couldn't go on. This could not be my future forever. So if you have folks who are looking down the road and need a new future, I get that. And I would love to speak to your organization and tell you the rest of my story. I would love to tell you about my battles and my triumphs. I would love to talk to your organization about struggling to go to school full-time, work a full-time job, be pregnant, and get hit every day, and do my homework every day, and graduate at the top of my class because I needed to get a new future. I would love to talk to your organization about the stamina and the strength and the positivity it takes to get hit and threatened with death on a regular basis and still keep your chin up enough and have enough organized thought to continue moving forward and not look back, because your new future is ahead of you, not behind you. No matter what the struggles in your organization are, maybe your folks aren't dealing with domestic violence, but I can guarantee you someone in your organization is. That may not be your problem at hand. It doesn't matter. Whatever the struggles are with your organization or with your individuals, a new future sometimes is the fix. So let me come and talk to you. Let me come and talk to your folks. Let me share my motivating story. Coming from a high school education and no hope to 3 wonderful children, a wonderful new husband, not getting dead in the process and not killing anyone in the process, building a business, having a wonderfully successful life in the long run, and not looking down the road and becoming a woman that I met at age 17 who greatly influenced my thinking that day sitting on the edge of my bed. You see, when I was 17, I met a woman at the carpet store I worked at. And she had a husband who was probably every bit as mean as my ex-husband. And he mistreated her, and she was in her 70s and was still with him. She stood in my store and cried because she had picked out the wrong carpet, and he drug her back down there to make a fool out of her in front of everyone and choose the right carpet to show her how stupid she was. And she was the person I said at that moment I was determined not to become. She lived with that for more than 50 years. She didn't get a new future, but it was because she didn't choose a new future. Yes, her husband Bill may have been one of the biggest jerks on the planet, but she chose Bill, and she chose to stay with him. Most things in life are about choice. I chose to survive. I chose to build. I chose to be positive. I chose to look forward. And every day I choose to keep on improving and living and not looking back. Is it always easy? No. Will it be easy in the future? I don't know. Will it get easier? It does a little bit every day. but it probably will never completely be that easy. But I choose. And I want to talk to your organization about making choices as well. Positivity, progression, choices, the new future. Your future has not been decided for you yet. You get to make that decision. Just like I did at age 20 years old, sitting on the edge of my bed. I appreciate you listening. I have so much more to say. Read my keynote page. I have more detail about my past and my history and wonderful, exciting things that I've been able to do in the world of improvisational comedy and theater. I could share all of those things with you today as well. But the point of this discussion was I chose. And I chose a future. And your folks can too. I hope to hear from you soon. Please don't hesitate to give me an email, lsmith@anderaseminars.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care and enjoy your new future.